everyone, my name is Elle in case you didn't already know, and welcome to my intro for 12 Pans of Christmas. This is a massive collab taking over the Project Pan community. I believe there's somewhere around 50 people involved so far, and I do expect that number to go up. It's crazy how this took off. So last year I was involved with a sort of similar collab with some amazing people, and I was very thankful and fortunate to be a part of that, and I feel very fortunate that I was asked to be a part of this one as well. Little story here. So this was originally started by Jacquelyn Lovene last year, and she had heard me talk about in a previous video how I was never included in things like tags and big projects. I was just always overlooked, and she remembered that and made sure to reach out to me specifically to invite me to do that one, which meant so much. So even though I said I wasn't going to be doing any new projects, this is just one that I cannot say no to. It means so much to me, and it's sort of like in the whole Christmas spirit, which I'm really far from right now. Anyway, I have a lot to talk about here. So we are going to have a playlist going with all of the videos. So I will have that linked down below in my description box. I'll also link Jacquelyn's channel and the people who are going to be participating on Instagram and not on YouTube. So there's a whole whack of new content for you guys, and I'm really excited for it, and I can't wait to watch everyone else's videos and support everybody, because that's what's so good about a collab like this, is that we can really support each other, and sometimes I feel like that's lacking a little bit. This community is really great sometimes at supporting people, but I feel like we can do more. So I'm really looking forward to more support and encouragement from each other. So this is 12 products, 12 pans of Christmas. I had suggested approaching it more like a project progress as opposed to a project pan, because we will be wrapping this project up somewhere between Christmas Day and New Year's Eve-ish. That's sort of like the rough timeline. So my products reflect that, but we also had the idea to go buy some holiday movies, which ended up being quite a challenge. We had like an unofficial voting through email for our favorite Christmas movies, and they were kind of all over the place, and a lot of them I actually have not seen. So I just picked some stuff at random. Some things I don't even have a way to tie it to. I was trying to pick a combination of products that tied with the movie choices that might be a little bit more difficult but just fun to play with, and then stuff that I truly wanted to try and finish up. So I will go through all of the movies and associated items, starting with the highest vote getter, which is the movie The Holiday, which I've actually never seen. I'm going to have to set aside a couple of nights to binge watch some of these movies once it gets closer to that time, just because there's so many holiday movies I realize I haven't seen, because I tend to stick with a handful of the same ones. So I haven't seen The Holiday. I really don't know much about it at all, but when I looked at posters and images from the movie, I noticed that the makeup was very minimal, and I noticed like glossy pink lips, which is why I chose this guy from BareMinerals. This is Pop of Passion in Pink Passion. It's just a really tiny little glossy balm, but it's pink, and I thought that it sort of fit what it looked like on the movie posters, just a very subtle sort of sheen. And bonus, I feel like this is something I can definitely finish, so my goal is going to be to finish that one. The next movie is Elf, which I haven't seen either, and I actually don't really have plans to see Elf because I do not like Will Ferrell. There's one Will Ferrell movie I love. I've watched it so many times. It's Stranger Than Fiction. I will watch that movie till the end of time, but in general, I don't like Will Ferrell. So I just tend to avoid things that he does. Anyway, I was having a hard time thinking of Elf. It was just like, oh, what do I do? What do I pick for this? I don't really know anything about this movie. I think Zooey Deschanel's in it, which is why I had wanted to see it at one point, but I can't really think of anything. And then something just stared me right in the face, and it is an entire makeup brand called Elf. The most obvious connection there could possibly be, and it took me an embarrassingly long time to think about it. So I decided to go with this e.l.f. face primer. This is the Poreless Face Primer in clear. So I can't actually tell how much is left in here just because of the nature of the packaging, but based on feel, I think I have probably about a month's worth of primer in here. And that's where I know I use makeup every single day. I put primer on my face every time I do makeup. So using this consistently, I feel like I can finish it probably in a month's time, definitely in a month and a half. The next movie is The Nightmare Before Christmas, and a lot of people are probably going to be thinking that I love this movie, and you would be very wrong. I do not love this movie, and it has nothing to do with the movie itself really, but just how much I was subjected to it when I was younger. So this was my brother's favorite movie when it came out on VHS, and I don't know exactly when it was that it came out on VHS. I want to say somewhere around 94, 95. It was like when things took like years to come out after it was in theaters. Anyway, my brother was probably like 3 years old maybe at the time, somewhere around there, and he would watch it on a loop. We had 2 TVs in our house. One that we weren't allowed to really watch that often because it was in my parents' bedroom, and then like the main living room TV, which was the one we had to share. But my brother just watched The Nightmare Before Christmas over and over and over again. The tape would end and he would rewind it. It would end and he would rewind it. On and on and on and on for months. I hate that movie now. I hate it just because of the associations I have with it, just because it was all that was ever on for this period of probably 6 or 7 months. So yeah, not a huge fan of that movie, and I've watched it a few times since, and I just can't get into it because I keep thinking, no, I saw this way too many times when I was younger to like this now. So I chose concealer as my product for this movie because I wish I could conceal those memories away. Yes, I know, it's kind of a lofty connection, but really, I wish I could start over with that movie and not have those memories attached to it of pretty much feeling like I was tortured with it for a very long time. Anyway, this is an Anastasia concealer. This was previously in my Project Pan Everyday Essentials. This is 0.5, so there's not a whole lot left in here either, and I've been using quite a bit of this recently, so I do think I can make a push and finish this as well. So it would be really good if I can push out at least half, if not more, of the products that are in this challenge. The next movie is The Santa Claus, and I really love this movie. This is not the one I voted for, but I do have a fondness for this. I also owned this on VHS, and I remember watching it every year with my family. It was kind of like mine and my mother's movie. Like, we just watched it. I remember watching the sequel with her. Like, it was, I have very like nice cozy associations with that movie. So the product I chose for this one, now again, it's hard to make associations, but I picked this ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in Sleigh, like Santa's sleigh. So I thought this would be an appropriate thing because I remember Santa's sleigh near the very beginning of the movie, and this is a very pretty color that I don't really wear often. It's a green with like silver glitter, and I feel like I could definitely do some really pretty looks with this. And of course, ColourPop Super Shock shadows have a very short shelf life, and I feel like this one is going to be done really, really soon. So I just like to hit pan on this, or at least make a dip. The next movie is The Grinch, and I watch the animated version every year. I also like the Jim Carrey version as well. That song, Where Are You Christmas, like wrecked my life. Probably wrecked a lot of people's lives. Such an emotional song. Anyway, pretty obvious thing to go for with The Grinch, but something green. So I chose my Becca color corrector in Pistachio. So I already have a lot of pan on this, but I just want to try and use more of it. This is the only green color corrector I have right now, and it's really not cutting it for me, so I want to finish it up so that I can buy something else. The next movie is Home Alone, and I have not actually seen Home Alone either. I know. It's such a classic movie, I just have never watched it. I've never had the desire to watch it, but maybe I should. So the product I chose, loosely based on the tiny bit of knowledge I have of this movie based off of like internet jokes, I went with the e.l.f. makeup lock and seal. I just feel like it kind of works a little bit. This is pretty close to being a full bottle of the lock and seal stuff, and you can use a few drops of this to mix with like loose powder products, which I do have one of those coming up, and you can use it to like make eyeliners and various fun things like that. I haven't played with it that much because I've been using the Inglot version, so I want to play with this a little bit and see what sort of things I can come up with. I thought it would be fun to throw it in here just because it's a product that has just been sitting around and I haven't really been playing with it much. The next movie is A Christmas Carol, and my favorite movie is a variation of The Christmas Carol, which is actually the next one on the list, but for just the classic Christmas tale, I had to choose something gold because Scrooge loves his gold, he loves his money, so I had to choose this guy. This is a little mini MAC pigment. This is Blonde's Gold. I actually just mixed a drop of the e.l.f. lock and seal with it, and hello, I love you. I love me some gold eyeshadow, so I do think this is going to be a lot of fun to play with. Fun fact, I was offered the role of Scrooge when I was in the 6th grade for our Christmas play, and I turned it down. Being an almost 12-year-old girl, didn't want to play a guy. One of my biggest regrets in life. I had such an opportunity and I wasted it. I was the narrator instead, so I got these big long monologues, but man, if I could go back in time, tell my younger self something and just say, do it, just do it, because you will not see any of these people again. It does not matter if they make fun of you, like they probably will, and they did anyway, so just do your thing, do your thing. So I do have a fondness in my heart for A Christmas Carol, but the next movie is The Muppets Christmas Carol. That's the one I voted for. That's my favorite movie. I watch that movie so much. I will watch it in the summertime. I will watch it whenever. It's such a feel-good movie for me. I just love the Muppets. I think that kind of dates me a little bit. I'm definitely a child of the 90s. I grew up watching lots of Muppet stuff, and this movie, it just makes me feel so good and it makes me laugh. And even if I'm just in the worst mood ever, I can put on that intro song where they're introducing Scrooge and guaranteed I'll be smiling in seconds. And the product I chose is not something I probably will end up panning. I'll use it a few times, but I just couldn't resist putting this in here because this is a little bite lipstick in the shade Aubergine. And aubergine is another word for eggplant. And there are singing vegetables in this movie. Nothing makes me laugh more than inanimate objects animated and singing especially. I don't know what it is. It just makes me laugh. Like, I know the Muppets are already like various animals and creatures and stuff, so it's already like bizarre, but there's just something about seeing a singing head of lettuce or cabbage that just makes me hysterical with laughter. In every kind of show, whatever it is, if they decide to give a voice to like a stapler or something, I lose it. I lose it. It's the bizarre, absurd humor that I just love and I cannot get enough of. So in the very beginning, the vegetables sing about how if Scrooge was a flavor, he'd be sour. And then like the vegetable sales guy's like, even the vegetables don't like him. And it's so funny to me. It's such a funny thing. So that's why I had to choose this one. The next movie is Christmas with the Cranks, and I have not seen this one either, so I just decided to choose this foundation. This is the Mercier Candleglow Soft Luminous Foundation in the shade Shell. So it's a little bit too dark for me and I just want to finish it up. My goal overall is to finish products that I don't plan on repurchasing, and while this foundation is nice enough, I want to try some other things. The next movie is White Christmas, and I went with another easy one. This is a white liquid eyeliner from Stila in Snow. So it's just a white liquid liner. It's kind of getting a little bit faded, so I know I need to use it up, and even if there's still a little bit hanging on at the end, I think I will call it quits with this just because it's not as pigmented as I want it to be. And my sister just did hand down the NYX one, which is actually much more white than that one, so I just want to push that one out. And speaking of my sister, this is going to be a little bit weird if she's watching because she's not going to get it at first, but the last movie is Christmas Vacation. So I just watched that for the first time last year. not really my sense of humor. The thing I laughed the most at was they have this like senile aunt who comes to the house, and like when she first walks through the door, she's like, is this the airport? I just love absurd humor, things that just make no sense. And everything she was talking about, like with the cats and everything, like that's the stuff that made me crack up hysterically. But everything else, I was like, I don't get it. Anyway, to connect this back to my sister, they use these really iconic mugs in the movie. I'm not sure if they're reindeer or moose on the top of my head, but either way, I think moose, and moose makes me think of Newfoundland, and Newfoundland is where my sister lives, and she sent me so much amazing makeup over the last little while because when she declutters her stuff, she sends it to me, so I get to play and I get to pan. I'm really always so grateful to her. Every time she sends me a little package, it's like Christmas. So I thought this was appropriate. This is something she sent to me fairly recently. This is the Estee Edit Pore Vanishing Stick, and it really does that. It works really well. But the Estee Edit no longer exists, so I have to finish that up. And lastly, the 12th item, free choice. I decided to go with this Mehron barrier spray. I actually picked up some special effects makeup like months ago, and I haven't really played with it much, but I did take this out of the little kit that I had, and I just sort of was using it because I figured better than to let it sit, because some of those other products will probably be okay, and this I'm sure would probably be okay too for a little while, but I felt like this is something that I could incorporate in and use, so I didn't feel too bad about spending money on special effects makeup that I wasn't using. So there's not a whole lot left here. It's really just at the last word there, and I will find a marker soon and put a mark on there before I use any more of it so that you guys will be able to track my progress. But that's it. Those are all 12 of my product choices for this amazing, amazing project. So like I said at the beginning, I'm very, very excited and very grateful and thankful to be a part of this. And I'm really excited to see everybody else's projects and their progress. If you want to jump in, please feel free to do so and we'll add you to the list. Anyway, that is everything I have to say. Thank you so, so much for sticking around to the end. I really, really appreciate it. Let me know if you have any comments, questions, concerns down below, and I will do my best to answer you as soon as I possibly can. Thank you so much for watching, for hanging out with me today, and I'll talk to you later. Bye for now.